Karamoja and poverty scandals are still creating chaos within the country. Good evening. Welcome along to Business Today. My name is Joram Ssonko with Winnie and Nakauchi on sign language. But first, a look at our top stories.
In Business Today, the EAC Common's currency is still a long way on course. Regional commitment simply yielding, and experts are hopeful about the agenda. Committee on Presidential Affairs starts investigations into the Karamoja relief scandal. 200 billion shillings believed to have been embezzled. American Tower Corporation telecoms operators launch 5th generation infrastructure, communication and businesses to be eased.
All right, now we start with the Karamoja scandal, as the Committee on the Presidential Affairs has begun inquiries into the mismanagement of logistical relief allocated to Karamoja sub-region. This follows allegations of self-appropriation of items such as iron sheets and goats by some government officials. We have more in this report.
According to the Poverty Status Report, Karamoja remains one of the poorest regions with a poverty rate of 63%. To offset such, numerous programs have been initiated by government through agriculture and other improved farming models. The Relief Fund, currently an issue for scandal, where a section of parliamentarians are reported to have embezzled logistical support, is currently undergoing investigation in Parliament.
In summary, we are going to look at the comprehensive value for money, for all the money spent for the procurement of the iron seats and the goats. We also thought it wise to give out checklists so that you will be able to respond to the specific issues raised in the checklist to guide on our proceedings, but also you are free at this point to add any other information that you think is relevant and that will help us. Paramountly, we want evidence-based information.
The relief fund that translated into logistical items like iron sheets and goats, intended to support agricultural practices, improve access to inputs such as seeds and fertilizers, and strengthen market linkages for smallholder farmers. It was also set to provide training and capacity building programs to help farmers adopt new technologies and practices that can improve their yields and improve their livelihoods.
This particular meeting is a milestone to make us come to a realistic understanding of the situation in Karamoja. I want to report to the committee that Karamoja 1 is happy about the passionate feeling or the plan the president or the NRM government is having. That's why, though they tell us that you are all yellow, we have to tell them, because we are seeing strategies that are aimed at elevating poverty in our region. But we are dismayed by the action people have done to us, especially the ministry for Karamoja. It is a ministry put just to downplay the development that is supposed to be in Karamoja. Like the minister and the technical team have brought disorganization. They go to talk against the MPs, to the LC5s, just to bring confusion in order to benefit from their loot.
However, during the preparation of this program, beneficiaries have been left out, and this has affected the progress of this initiative. Over 57 parishes have not been considered for the goat fund.
Instead of delivering the goats as per the number of parishes, which were 534, they chose to deliver for 477 parishes.
So some of the parishes are left out.
True.
There has been no cooperation while managing the efficiency of the relief fund, hence causing scandals during the distribution of money. This has drawn criticism among the beneficiaries and government officials.
The agreement was to smoothen the path of the money to come out. The moment the money stepped in, disagreement emerged. We disagreed heavily in OPM. So we were locked out practically. Everything we were told, everything is in pipeline, things were almost at the end. The financial year is ending, we cannot tamper. Everything was haphazard. Generally, the whole thing, Kumbe, we didn't know that there was a systematic looter coming out. It was systematically planned so that we are somehow locked. So from the beginning, we must know that we were never heavily involved, even in the planning. We were just informed at end levels. When the thing is almost ending, everything is a byproduct.
The relief scandals in Karamoja underscore the ongoing challenges of corruption and governance in Uganda, and the need for concentrated efforts to address these issues in order to promote gender accountability, transparency, and social justice in the country. Martha Nimsima, Smart24 TV, Business Today.
Now let's talk the East African Common Currency. As despite determination by the East African Bloc to realize full economic integration, the achievement of a monetary union has proved far-fetched. Representatives of the numerous challenges in regards to economic zones undergo before the birth. Meanwhile, experts still envision a clear transition to the long-term agenda amidst all of this.
The idea of a monetary union was first proposed in 2007, and the roadmap set implementation between 2013 and 2024. This hasn't, however, been realized, coming short on major preliminary targets such as customs union, common market, just before the long-anticipated monetary union that offers a regional currency and central bank. All this responds to low commitment, rival member policies, among other factors.
13 it came to effect in 2014, and we gave 10 years for partner states to prepare, to put into place mechanism to make sure that the monetary union takes effect. Of course, there have been very many challenges, including COVID, so partner states have not been able to fulfill the requirements. The roadmap had been drawn, but now the roadmap, we have got now a new roadmap, which we are going to make sure that we put into place, to make sure that we shall be able to attain the monetary union.
Regional commitment has been unequal among its member states. Observed through differences in trade, market, physical and monetary policies, Uganda's commitment, however, remains unquestionable, and experts still refute observation of a slow progress.
When you look at the timelines that had been established, for example, it had been anticipated that by 2024 we will have rolled out particulars of convergence and all those. When now you make an assessment after of course, the signing of the protocol and Article 23 of the protocol for the monetary union, there was a requirement for the establishment. There was a requirement for the establishment of the East African Community. Before the end of this term of office, I imagine before the end of the Fifth Assembly, there must be a few details that we will watch as the East African Community.
As the East African Community grapples with relentless tests towards the economic union, member states are expected to express commitment and work tirelessly towards addressing such for full economic integration.
Because what you need to know is that East Africa is not yet a country. These are distinct states, completely partner states. And we only cooperate on what we call cooperation areas. So therefore, an area of cooperation is where the East African Community is located. For example, you cannot now run to Congo, South Sudan, or where, and just buy land and begin working, simply because you are an East African. No.
The new roadmap to make sure that a monetary union comes into effect at an agreed time, which the council will have decided.
And the customs union?
The customs union is what we are in, of course, this issue of free movement of goods within the region.
Act 83 of the Treaty of the Establishment of the East African Community, the monetary and physical policy harmonization, underlines major considerations where partner states will undertake to adopt policy measures in accordance with agreed macroeconomic policy framework and remove all exchange restrictions on imports and exports within the community. Maintenance of free market determined exchange rates exists and enhance the levels of international reserves. Adjustment of physical policies and net domestic credit to the government is overseen to ensure monetary stability and achievement of sustained economic growth. Financial sectors are liberalized, freeing and deregulating interest rates to achieve positive real interest rates in order to promote savings for the investment within the community. and still harmonize tax policies to clear tax distortions and ensure efficient allocation of resources within the community. The establishment of a monetary union would bring several benefits to member states, including increased trade and investment, greater economic stability, and the facilitation of cross-border transactions. However, without significant commitment and progress, the benefits may remain elusive. Lona Nahabwe, Smart24 TV, Business Today.
And now let's look at reshaping online sales. The American Tower Corporation Uganda, ATC, in partnership with development partners, has launched 5G smart poles to reduce the cost of communication in the capital. These poles will soften online communication between traders, including those owning shops in the basements. This in turn will enhance online trading in the country.
According to Kampala Capital City's strategic goal, by June 2025, Kampala will be an inclusive, resilient and well-planned city that provides economic growth. In a similar effort, American Tower Corporation Uganda, in conjunction with other development partners, has launched 5G smart poles to lower economic costs in Kampala City. According to Dorothy Semanda, the Executive Director of American Tower Corporation Uganda, these poles will soften communication and enhance online trading.
So it is small, so you can fit it in small areas, and it will support people who are here that are doing online sales, because the experience is a lot faster. The data quality supports them to post pictures in a way that is quick, and they can get a faster customer response.
Engineer David Luimbazi, the Deputy Executive Director of Kampala Capital City Authority, says that the airwaves have always been disrupted by long buildings, adding that these poles are a game changer because those who own shops in the basements will also be sorted.
The buildings disrupt the movement of the airwaves. So, and even the walls of the buildings disrupt the transmission in the buildings. So online trade has been affected adversely. Now with this installation of these smart poles, the penetration, when you come downtown, you don't suffer network issues. You're able to maintain connectivity, you still have the network buzz that you should have, and you can actually hold Zoom meetings, do online sales. Which activities are important?
When asked if this scheme was intended only for Kampala City, they responded that they are in contact with other cities and intended to expand the infrastructure.
And outside Kampala, we're already working with other cities, and the plan is for us to do this across Uganda.
In built-up areas, people who are working in basements, people who are working in arcades have previously complained of poor network. They are not able to send emails, they are not able to make calls. We heard your cries, and today we are here with ATC to make sure that we put those cries to rest. We have been able to install about 6 of them along Rome Street in Chikubo to ensure that the people who are trading, they are supported the same way as people who are in other areas that are not built up.
In the city, there are numerous communication systems, including mail, the internet, and the telephone. If any of them are disrupted due to lack of supporting infrastructure, daily online sales are also impacted. Pedson Mumbere, Smart24 TV, Business Today.
We now look at the cost of crime. When you look at this, a high crime rate, including theft and robbery, can tarnish the image of a country, leading to reduced tourism, foreign investment, and economic growth. With businesses being the primary targets, these crimes have become a common occurrence that affects Uganda's economy. Fred Enanga, the Uganda police spokesperson, breaks down the crimes on the different business sectors. This and more with Bronia Katusime.
A vehicle transporting maize for sale was recently stopped and thieves stole the maize, and in the process harming the driver and the passengers. The frightening rise in robberies, from pickpockets to robbers with guns, has many people fearing for their lives. Robbery can cause farms to suffer from moderate losses to total insolvency in terms of financial losses.
We had an incident in Mubende district, that is in Kasambia, where a group of 10, a gang of 10 armed with pangas, they intercepted a truck that was loaded with 13 tons of maize, 5 bags of beans, and they managed to attack the occupants, that is the driver, and the businessman Mwesige Charles, 39-year-old. They tied them up and dumped them in the nearby bush, and then they robbed the lorry that had 13 tons of maize, 5 bags of beans, and cash 1.8 million.
Although this might be considered an urban issue, it gets worse when it costs the country money. Due to its status as a developing nation, investment forms a crucial part of Uganda's progress. There is a reason why war-torn places lack investors. Economic progress goes hand in hand with security. Instead, in light of the rising unemployment, we should foster a business-friendly atmosphere to help the unemployed find employment. Police spokesperson for Uganda, Fred Inanga, has warned that those responsible would suffer the penalties if they were caught.
And theft of electrical installations in a night that is in these ones were arrested from Bugweri district. And so the 3 suspects whom were arrested for vandalism and theft of electrical installations in Bugweri include Cheyune Muhammad, a 45-year-old driver, Muaya Birali, 35-year-old taxi driver, and Musubo Roger, who are all residents of Bugambuze Ward in Idudi. You are aware that these are now who sabotage infrastructure with the terrorism, and so these are going to be charged with terrorism as well. We recovered an assortment of aluminium wires, a motorcycle, and mobile phones. So those are going to be charged in that respect.
Furthermore, the government has increased police patrols and deployed more security personnel to areas with high crime rates. It has also implemented harsher penalties for those found guilty of the theft and robbery.
Crime is everywhere. It is not only in Uganda. A lot of countries have crime, even worse than ours. But that does not mean that business in Kampala or other parts of the country will not continue. So it is upon the government and other stakeholders to work together in making sure that we have all the material that is necessary to investigate crime and stop it.
According to a survey from Crime in Uganda, the rate of crime increases along with the expense of living, especially when it comes to robbery and theft. Although it may be difficult for the authorities to prevent this behavior, given the rising cost of necessities, safety always starts with you. Always be on the lookout for danger wherever you walk, especially late at night. Bernia Katsime, Smart24 TV, Business Today.
Business Today does continue after the break. When we return, we have the Coffee Court conversations coming up.